Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Christine and this is Christine's Culinary Quest. I've been talking with a lot of y'all offline about your dietary restrictions, whether it's because you're diabetic, you're on a keto or low carb diet, or you just want to eat healthier. So I did get a specific request for a diabetic friendly dessert recipe. So today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make a diabetic friendly caramel sauce with tofu. That's right, so today we're going to make caramel sauce with tofu. Are y'all ready for this? So for our recipe today, you're going to need soft silken tofu, the milk of your choice, salted butter, vanilla, and sugar. And I know what you're thinking, sugar in a diabetic recipe, but we're not using just any sugar, okay? There are two sugars that are actually really great options for people who have diabetes or are trying to limit sugar, and those sugars are erythritol and allulose. And I know those sound super like chemically and processed and ridiculous, like why would you have this? But they're actually really great for you. They're sugars that are naturally occurring in different fruits and fermented foods, and they have lots of great benefits, especially if you're diabetic. So let me tell you a little bit about those sugars, the benefits of them, and the differences between them. So erythritol and allulose are both sugars that melt, bake, and dissolve like sugar, but they don't affect your blood sugar levels, aren't digested by your body, and therefore won't even count towards your calories or your carbs for this meal. So pretty sweet, huh? What you want to think about are the differences. Erythritol sugars crystallize as they cool, giving it a crunchier texture when cooled, similar to creme brulee. And because it just passes through your body, it can lead to a poor reaction if your gut is sensitive, you have digestion issues pretty easily. Allulose, on the other hand, has prebiotics in it. So it actually helps to improve your gut health, and it'll give you that more classic smooth caramel texture. Today I do want to use an erythritol sugar brand called Swerve, just because I do want that crunchy, crystally, sort of creme brulee texture to my caramel in my recipes for the next little bit going forward. But if you want to use allulose and you can't find it at your local store, you can find those through Amazon, or Walmart also lets you order it online and pick up within a few days. So be sure to look for the bags that say allulose real big on the bag on the front to make sure you're getting the right one, or you can check the ingredients at the bottom on the back just to be sure you're getting what you really want. But I'm telling you, the words allulose, real big on the front, are really hard to miss. Now to start our recipe, first we'll take our tofu and milk choice and combine them 1-to-1 in a blender to create a healthier, heavy whipping cream substitute with 4 grams of protein and 2 grams of fat instead of the more common 6 grams of fat from store-bought whipping cream. My tofu came in a waterproof box, so I'm just pouring the milk into the box to get an accurate measurement, but 1/2 cup of milk to 12 ounces of tofu works too. So unlike firm tofu, silken tofu is soft and creamy. So by combining it with milk, you're able to create this thick, creamy, heavy cream substitute that is also vegan free. And that way you can get around all of the caramel recipes that require eggs, heavy cream. Now to start our recipe, first we'll take our tofu and milk choice and combine them. Be sure if you are using a non-dairy milk that you really consider, if you're going to use this for more than just this caramel sauce recipe, what flavors you're going to be incorporating into your heavy cream, if you're using like coconut milk or anything like that, because the flavors may not go with everything you may make with heavy cream going forward. Before we move on, I do have one thing I need to say, and I'm only going to say this once. Tofu does not melt. If you're wanting to use this as a substitute in this recipe, but for some reason you want to skip using it as heavy cream and just try to incorporate it directly into the pan, it's not going to work, guys. Tofu does not melt, so if you try to put it into your mixture of buttery melted sugar later on, you're just going to end up with buttery melted sugar with chunks of tofu floating around in it. Because tofu is not cheese, tofu is not dairy, tofu, I will say it again, does not melt. Okay, moving on. Let's take a pan and put it on the stove at medium-high heat and add 1 cup of your chosen sugar to the pan. Be sure to watch it closely. As it heats, your sugar will begin to bubble up on the sides. When you see it turn clear, pull the clear edges to the center with a heat-resistant spatula. Once the sugar is melted, it should turn completely clear, like water. Continue to stir it until it turns a light golden brown in color, and then turn the stove off and add your 5 tablespoons of butter. It should only take 5 minutes to get to this point, so keep a close eye on it, otherwise your sugar might burn. I swear, the second I take my eye off the sugar, it always burns. Does anyone else have this issue? Stir constantly until the butter is completely mixed in. We don't want the sugar sticking to the pan or burning. Now add 5 tablespoons of the heavy cream substitute you made and resume stirring until that's completely mixed in as well. The liquid in the pot will begin to boil after adding the heavy cream and again after you add 1 teaspoon of your vanilla. After mixing the vanilla in, pour the mixture into a heat-safe container and leave it on the bar to cool. If your caramel sauce cools and you find that it's still a little too thin, you can add 1/8 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Just to thicken it back up. You can find that on Amazon, Walmart.com, different places like that if they don't sell it at your regular store, but it basically just thickens up the sauce and you really only need a little bit. So 1/8 teaspoon is plenty in this case. Or if you don't want to buy xanthan gum, you don't know where it is, or you just need to make this recipe now, then you can take your caramel, put it back in your pan and cook it on low heat for 10 to 15 minutes, depending how thick you're trying to get it. It should be at least a little bit thicker noticeably within the pan, even liquefied, before you try to cool it again, and you can just repeat that process.
Be sure to cool it to room temperature before sticking it in the fridge. We don't want any moisture to form in the container after we put it in the fridge. You can refrigerate your caramel for a week or freeze it, and it'll stay soft when used in dairy. If you want to make it a salted caramel, I'd recommend using sea salt, but honestly, using salted butter in this recipe made it salty enough for me, so salt it to taste. If you don't particularly like salt, you can also use this recipe with unsalted butter and add salt towards the end if you think it needs it.
Thank you for checking out this video and let me know what you guys think. I know I threw a lot of information at you guys today, but I genuinely hope that it helps you to cook healthier, explore foods that you thought that you couldn't have because of your dietary restrictions or conditions that you have. And let's just continue to learn how to cook healthier, be better, work towards that self that we're wanting to be going forward. And you guys are taking a good first step, learning more, looking into healthier options, and just keep taking that next step. And I hope I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye. See you.